Hello, everyone. Welcome in back to the sanctuary, and I am so thrilled to be here with you all for the closing of the day. And we are going to hear from Joe Davis, an award-winning spoken word artist and best-selling author who uses poetry to power possibility. Let's all welcome Joe Davis.
Right on. Hey, it's such a joy to be with you all today. My name is Joe Davis. The kids I work with call me Joe Diggity Davis. But you can just call me Joe Davis. I'm a man of many hats, literally and metaphorically. I do music and theater and dance, but a lot of people know me as a poet, and I use poetry to power possibility. So I always use the arts as a catalyst to center emotional, spiritual, and mental well-being. And so I would like to just share some of my story and some of my poetry to get us grounded and centered in our bodies. I love that we've already had a lot of space, a lot of time to get into our bodies, to move, to reflect, because I know I need that in my life. If your life is set up anything like my life, the moment you wake up, you're being pulled in a bajillion different directions, right? We have these computers in our pockets, or as I call them, these weapons of mass distraction, right? And we're doom scrolling, and we get the dopamine hits from the red notifications, and the same people who designed the slot machines designed some of the social media that we're on, right? And so we're in this culture of distraction, but I think it's beautiful when we're able to create the space to take a moment to center our wellness, right? And so for me, art really helps me do that. And one of the things I have, one of my mentors, Dr. Joy Lewis, who's an author and a healer in the community, she taught me what she calls the hand over heart meditation. And the moment that you put your hand, we did some of this earlier today too, but when you put your hand over your heart, it immediately triggers your body's relaxation response. It can calm your entire central nervous system. And so I have poems and prayers and meditations and affirmations that I say as I get grounded and centered in my body. And this is one of them I want to offer to you all. Whatever your body needs to do right now to get grounded and centered into this space, I invite you to do that. This poem is from my first book. Right here. So it's the first poem of my first book called We Rise Higher. And this piece is called This Place. And it's meant to be a piece that helps us get grounded and centered in our body and be welcomed back into the home of who we truly are. Because sometimes we forget these things, right? We need things to help us remind us of the truth. So it goes like this. Here is where we give you the permission you may not have given yourself to show up and bring your most authentic self. You can cry here. You can take your time here. To be you is not a crime here. We are all divine here. We shine brighter when we all shine here. We rise higher when we all rise here. We celebrate the fact that we are still alive here. We practice being kind here. No guilt, blame, or shame here. There's only grace here. We know you by name here. We hope that you stay here because all that you are can be reclaimed and embraced here in this place. It's that piece. Thank y'all so much. Yeah. Sometimes in poetry we snap. If you can do little snaps, that's what we do. During the poem, if you hear something you connect with, something that resonates with you. So I invite you all to snap during this time. But a lot of times folks will say, how did you get into poetry? How did you get into this work of wellness, right? And so for me, when I was a kid, I always would write my own poems and stories and songs. I would write these little love letters to the cutest girl on the playground. And, you know, my schoolyard crush. And my friends would say, ooh, you gonna get cooties? I said, so what? I want to get cooties. And it was really silly and playful, but I got really, really, really sick when I was in elementary school. I actually got so sick that I passed out on the bathroom floor. I was rushed to the emergency room. I was hospitalized. And for several years throughout my life in elementary school and in high school. I was in and out of the hospital. The doctors couldn't really figure out what was going on, but I had some pretty heavy traumatic experiences. But what I didn't realize at the time, I was still writing, right? I reached for the nearest thing that I had, which was my pen and my notepad. And I continued to draw, continued to write poems and stories and songs and things that were hard for me to talk to my parents or my friends about. I could just pour my heart and my soul into my notebooks. And I had stacks of notebooks where I created my own comic books, my cartoons, and these lengthy poems, and just really expressing myself, unfiltered, raw, real, right, unapologetic. But what I didn't realize at the time is that I was actually practicing what can be called logotherapy. When I got older, I began to study this. There's actually a man named Viktor Frankl who survived the Nazi internment camps. His entire family actually didn't survive, but he survived and became a psychotherapist. And he coined the term logotherapy, which talks about healing through writing, right? And being able to process your experiences and find new meaning in them. I didn't realize it at the time, but that's what I was tapping into. As a kid, I was using the arts, using poetry and storytelling and music to help me heal. So now I get to do that for my full time. I live in North Minneapolis, but I travel across the country. I go to schools and churches and nonprofits and businesses, and I get to teach people wellness practices using the arts as a catalyst. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of this community and just share, right? Build these toolkits, because we need these toolkits. I think we already know deep down inside of us, our hearts know how to breathe, our hearts know how to beat, we know how to breathe, we know how to be in community together, but sometimes this truth gets lost, forgotten, or stolen. And so how do we develop practices we can reclaim that truth together? I like to say, I'm not reminding you anything that you don't already know. I'm just creating the space for us to remember them together. Remember what's possible together. I'm not the sage on the stage. I'm just the guide alongside. I'm a fellow practitioner, and we're learning together. We're unearthing these deeper truths together. So y'all cool with practicing with me today? Yeah? All right, well, let's do a quick practice, and I'll do another poem. So for me, I like to do affirmations to remind me of who I am and whose I am and what's possible together. And so at early time in the pandemic, that was the first time I started going to therapy because I realized I really needed to. But what I was holding wasn't just my own woundedness. It was also I was holding this collective trauma, this collective grief that was in my body. And I started developing ways to process it, not only in therapy, but also in my own personal practices. So I came up with these affirmations. I would remind myself of things that I needed to remember. So when we started going back out into the world, I had these affirmations. I would say, okay, I got to remember my phone, my wallet, my keys, and my mask. So I came up with a rhyme to remember that. I said, okay, phone, wallet, keys, mask. Wallet, keys, mask. 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 It's a little funky, right? Yeah, as a poet and a rapper, you got to have some fun, funky ways to remember things. But what came to me is sometimes we forget things that are even more important than our personal items. Sometimes we forget that we are good and worthy of love. Sometimes we forget who we truly are, right? Because we live in a world with so many distractions, so much negative messaging we get inundated with every single day. How do we come back to this truth of being good and worthy of love? I know I needed that reminder, and so many other people in my life needed that reminder too. So I started to develop poems and practices around that. And that's where I came out with my second book, Remind Me Again, which I don't have a copy of because it's sold out. But if you want to get, right, that's a good problem to have, right? But you can definitely connect with me if you want copies. It's on Barnes & Noble and Amazon and my website. But the point of what I'm trying to say is I wrote that book. It's called Remind Me Again. It's not just a catchy title. It's actually a cry for help. Because I need reminders just as much as we all need reminders, right? And so I started to say, instead of just phone, wallet, keys, mask, I started to say, I am good, I'm worthy of love. I am good, I am worthy of love. I am good, I am worthy of love. I am good, I am more than enough. I want to invite y'all to say that with me because I think that some of you may need this reminder just as much as I do. So you can say it with me, but if you say it, you got to put a little swagger on it. Make it a little funky. I know we're in Minnesota, and sometimes, well, I've traveled all across the country, and what I realize is that people in Minnesota, when they really are attentive and they want to show you that they're respectful, they're paying attention, they say it very quietly and just look at you, right? But if you go down south or somewhere else, they might get really loud. Woo, yeah! So I give you permission to express yourself fully, unapologetically. So it goes like this. It goes like this. I'll say it, and then I invite you to say it with me. It goes, I am good, I am worthy of love. I am good, I am worthy of love. Say that. And the second part, I am good, I am worthy of love, I am good, I am more than enough. Try it. Yeah, right on. That feels good to say that, right? It feels really good. But here's the thing. I think there is a power in community. And sometimes maybe even you do say it yourself, you may not even believe it. You may not really feel it in your body. And there's days where you're struggling to get out of bed and you need somebody else to help you lift yourself from under the weight of your wounds. We need each other, not just to survive, but to thrive. And we need people around us to remind us of these truths. So I want to invite you all to turn to somebody next to you, find a strange person next to you. If you can't find a strange person next to you, that means you're the strange person. No, I'm just playing. Strangers are friends waiting to happen. So find somebody, and I invite you all to say, you are good, you are worthy of love. You are good, you are worthy of love. Worthy of love. You are good, you are worthy of love. And the second part, you are good, you are worthy of love. You are good, you are more than enough. You're worthy of love. You are good, you are more than enough. Yeah. That feels good, right? Feels good? All right, so the last part, right? And sometimes we need the power of the collective voice. I say I'm just one voice of the collective many. I am who I am because somebody loved me into existence. Right? I believe in what's called Ubuntu, which is a South African concept that says I am because we are. A person is a person through other people. Right? So we can't do this thing by ourselves, y'all. So much of what we try to carry is not meant to be carried alone. We need each other. And so I want to invite us all to say together in one voice, we're going to say, we are good, we are worthy of love. We are good, we are worthy of love. We are good, we are worthy of love. We are good, we are more than enough. Let's all say that together as one unified voice to remember who we are and what's possible together. Let's try it. Here we go. We are good, we are worthy of love. We are good, we are worthy of love. We are good, we are worthy of love. We are good, we are more than enough. Yeah, give some noise. Make some noise for yourselves. Yeah. That's what's all about, y'all. I think I only have time for maybe one more poem here to share, but I would love to still be in community with y'all if you want to connect with me. I have some cards. I have more books available as well, but my favorite thing to do is to be in community with folks and practice together. I have a whole organization I started called Finding My Freedom Practice, and it's just about us getting together, and I use the arts, music, poetry, theater, dance, to invite people into deeper body-centered, community-centered practices of wellness. And so you all are already doing that, so I want to thank y'all so much to commit to showing up. Showing up is the most powerful thing you can do, right? Sometimes it's really hard. Maybe you go places and you're taught to check parts of your identity at the door or to shrink or to play small. But I know that the world needs you, all of who you are, your full self. One of my favorite quotes is from Howard Thurman. And he was a mystic and a writer and a teacher and a healer. And he said, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come fully alive. Because what the world needs are more people who are fully alive. How do we practice aliveness together? How do we practice envisioning and embodying a world of human flourishing, right? Can only happen when you show up. So thank y'all for showing up. This last poem is my expression of heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you all for showing up to this work, showing up for yourselves, showing up for each other, for that world of possibility of healing and wholeness. Let's keep showing up together. It goes like this. We've each been called to this place, this time and this season. You may not yet know the rhyme or the reason. You may not feel, think, or believe in the same things I believe in, but we've been asked to show up. Show up wherever you are from. You can come here to be free. Bring your full self, both your head and your heart, your hands and your feet, and anything and everything infinitely beyond any duality, your sexuality, gender, race, age, or ability. We all have the ability to be. Without you, I'm incomplete. Without you, there's no we. I need you not just to survive, but to thrive, to come fully awake and alive with potential and possibility. Join me at the table, for it is wide and there's lots of food to eat. So show up and be fed and feed others, satiating a different kind of hunger, fueling the fire in our bellies. No matter what journey you're on, where you've been and what you've done, All will be well when we're all welcome to laugh, cry, dance, right? Breathe and bleed into the margins and follow the call to the far reaches of who we are. Whether you run, walk, crawl, even if you fall, we fall in love. But just show up. Show up to answer a call to justice, to transform both the soul and the bodily world the soul inhabits. Show up with all your awkwardness and bad habits. Show up with your doubts and with your questions. No one here, you can ask them. Show up with your wounds and your scars. We all have baggage. But know that together, we can unpack it. This is no mistake. You're not here by accident. You are here for the stories of your sacred passage. You are the only you that ever has been. You are not the magician. You are the magic. So show up to this place here where there's no grace period. There's only grace, period. Bring your fears and insecurities. Let us marvel in the mystery. Let us listen each other to life with a deep, holy listening. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? That's the sound of the genuine within you. The Spirit stirring near you, but if you don't show up, how can anyone hear you? Show up. Even if you don't know for certain. You may have the truth and healing for which this world is searching. In this grand universe, we're but small workers, but with a big purpose, because of our hearts widening the circle. Hearts that are broken, hearts that are open, so a little light can shine through, a little hope for the hopeless. Wherever you go, simply know the spirit of this place goes with you. So go. Ready with sleeves rolled up, always growing, never fully grown up, ready with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, simply to show up. Thank y'all so much for showing up. Let's keep showing up together, y'all. We got this. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, all of you, for being here today together. It's been such a wonderful day. I'm so glad you all showed up, and I hope you leave this place with so many things that you can move forward with and think about and process and love one another and all of the great things that you've learned and done today. So thank you.